was originally titled One Christian versus 20 Atheists. And then like a day later, they changed it to Jordan Peterson versus 20 Atheists. And see, the reason they had to change the title is because of this scene right here. This Danny guy basically says, "You're a Christian, right?" And Jordan Peterson says, "Well, you said you claim that. I never claimed that." There's a huge problem with that. Jordan Peterson, for the last several years, has been going around touring, talking about the Bible, talking about Genesis. He has his Genesis series. He has his Exodus series. He has his Gospel series. And, the thing is, and he just wrote a book called We Who Wrestle with God. And so the thing is like, he, it would be easy for somebody to basically look at him and think like, oh, you're a Christian, right? Because you talk about the Bible an awful lot. And not only does he talk about the Bible an awful lot, you'll see throughout this debate, he definitely, even though he says he's learned from other religions, he definitely has favoritism towards Christianity and towards the Bible. And like he's very strange in that regard, because like he so thoroughly favors Christianity and promotes it, yet he never identifies as a Christian. He even goes as far right here to say, "I've never claimed that. I've never claimed to be a Christian." He says it right here, right? Oh, and then I love how this guy says, "Don't be a smartass," and Jordan Peterson says to him, "Don't be a smartass," and then he says, "Oh well, you're really something, right?" Like Jordan Peterson says it right here. He's like, yeah, he says, "I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you," right? And this guy says, "I was under the impression I was invited to debate a Christian," right? And so I kind of blame Jubilee because Jubilee titled this 20 Atheists versus 1 Christian. And the thing is, Jordan Peterson never claimed to be a Christian. And then he says it right here explicitly. "I never claimed to be a Christian." And this is a problem because like so many Christians have been platforming Jordan Peterson, and he's talking about the Bible constantly. And now he's being put up against 20 atheists like he's a defender of the faith. And like it's not even clear that he believes in the faith. So, this whole debate was kind of flawed from the start. Like, I don't know who allowed this to happen. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jordan Peterson, but like this debate just didn't go well. It really didn't go well. Like, because the thing is I'll see if I can find it in the video. But there's another part in this video where Jordan Peterson goes, her name's Zara. She asks him, like, well, what's a transcendent morality, right? Like, what's an example of transcendent morality, like that isn't dependent on like culture or something? And Jordan Peterson says, "Tell the truth," right? Like that's like something he said before in the past as well. And it's like, okay, well, telling the truth, I agree. But like, if you really think about it, like, I think Jordan Peterson, like in some ways he's very honest, but in other ways he's like very dishonest. And like one way that he's very honest is that, he's very clear that he's not exactly sure where he stands. And like he does make that clear, he's not exactly sure where he stands. But at the same time, he feigns ignorance of certain things that like that he knows what people are asking, and he's like, "Oh well, I don't know what the answer to that is." But he does. And he says, you should always tell the truth. Well, Jesus said, "Let your yes be yes and your no be no." And anything other than that is from the evil one. And when people ask Jordan Peterson, "Do you believe Jesus is the Son of God? Do you believe the Bible is true? Do you believe in the Holy Trinity?" Right? And when people ask him these point-blank questions, he doesn't give a yes or no. He's like, "Well, depends on by what you mean. Depends on what you mean." It's like, no, you know exactly what they mean, right? Like his whole principle is like, always tell the truth. It's like, don't act like you don't know what something means when you know what it means and try and get out of it. Like that's the opposite of telling the truth. And it's true that he doesn't always know, and that sometimes he's honest with what he doesn't know. But there's a lot of times where I think he knows and he just tries to philosophize his way out of it, to like weasel word his way out of it. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, he crashes out here pretty bad. Yeah. And by the way, I mean, Jordan Peterson only talked to that guy for like maybe like a minute, and then he's like, "I'm done with you." And in some ways, I think that guy was being a total jerk. Like he really was being a total jerk to Jordan Peterson. Like he was clearly there to just push his buttons. But at the same time, I think the questions he was asking, like those are questions that every Christian would actually like to know what Jordan Peterson really thinks. And Jordan Peterson revealed what he really thinks. Basically, that he said, "I never claimed to be a Christian." Well, okay, all the people who have been wondering, if he is or isn't a Christian, he basically just said no, right? Like because here's the thing: anybody that firmly believes in Jesus Christ, if you ask them like, "Are you a Christian?" they would say yes, right? Because to say no is to essentially deny Christ. Peter denied knowing Christ 3 times, right? Like Literally, Jesus is like, oh, you're going to deny me 3 times. And Peter's like, oh, no, I'm not going to deny you, Lord. And then he did it 3 times, right? And people ask Peter, weren't you with Jesus? And he's like, oh, no, I don't know him. And I'm not saying that Jordan Peterson goes to the extreme of like, oh, no, I don't know who Jesus is. Like, I'm not saying he goes quite to that extreme. But he goes enough to where he's like, basically he said I'm not a Christian, right? Which is essentially like saying like, I don't really identify with Jesus.